Hello everyone, my name is Vaibhav Puranik and today I'm going to talk about a topic that's often ignored or misunderstood. And it's about how real estate is super local. And when I say super local, I mean the neighborhood level, right? It's literally like between this street and that street, like 4 or 5 blocks or something. Lots of statistics data about cities is thrown around in our world of multifamily syndication, right? um, they say that, oh, rent growth is happening in this city. It's this much percentage, there is this much delinquency, there is this much oversupply, right? And general partners or people operators or sponsors, syndicators, whatever you call them, right? They subscribe to a lot of data, right? They subscribe to CoStar, they subscribe to Yardi, they subscribe to like Crexy. There's a lot of people who just give you a lot of data, right? Or Zillow has a lot of data about rentals as well, right? Zillow tells you what are the rental listings in the area, all of that stuff. But if you look at a city level data, right, I am afraid that you could come to a wrong conclusion. And that is because real estate is super local, right? You need to look at the neighborhood level data. You need to look at very, very specific data, okay? And you cannot even have a fixed radius. You cannot always say it's 5 mile radius from your property, because sometimes what happens is the street over to your street, right? Street next to your street could be really, really bad, right? So situation there could be quite different, and situation at your property could be quite different. So understanding all of this and putting it in perspective is very important. And I want to explain this with a real life story that happened to us, right? So we have a team, right? And in our team, there is a super data ninja. He's amazing, he's brilliant, he's PhD, he's a scientist, right? Whenever he comes to a conclusion from data, I just accept it. And so what happened is about a couple of months ago, one of our unit in one of the Modesto properties was not running right quickly. So he looked at the data. We have subscription for CoStar, and after looking at data, he said that, well, there's an oversupply in Modesto, and as a result of that, we must reduce our rent aggressively and make sure that this gets rented before the Christmas season comes, right? Because people don't move in Christmas, around Christmas, right? I said, show me the data. And he showed me the data, and I came to the exact same conclusion. Okay, that's great, fine. We lowered the rent, and the unit got rented about in a week's time. So perfect. His advice was good, sound, and we acted on it, and we got results quickly. Now, couple of weeks after that, there was couple of vacancies. 2 vacancies came in my personal properties in Modesto. Now, this neighborhood is a little bit away from where it is, about 3-5 miles away from there. But this time, I just had this intuition that this data that we have about oversupply in Modesto cannot be true about this particular neighborhood, because this is a neighborhood in real demand. The rents are going up, even in these cases where rents are not going up everywhere else. So I knew that, right? And that's because I've been through that neighborhood multiple times. I know exactly what are the factors that actually bring the prices up. It's just a neighborhood that's up and coming. New things are happening there. It's a really, really well-kept neighborhood, right? There is a homeowners association there, right? All in the single families that are there. So everything is like, it looks really, really nice. So I decided to act against this data advice for these new 2 vacancies, right? And I said a higher rent, and we put the first property out in the market. And guess what? The property went away in spite of that higher rent in 1 week. It got rented in 1 week, which is great, by the way. So we put the second vacancy as well. And same thing happened. With a higher rent, it got rented in 1 week. So now what's happening here is, it's one neighborhood in Modesto, 2 rentals going away quickly with higher rent, and then in another neighborhood, this we had to aggressively lower the price to rent the unit, right? This is the paradox that I'm talking about. That when you look at the city level data, this is what you're going to miss out on these kind of things. You cannot look at city level data. City is a pretty big unit to look at, right? You need to look at neighborhood level data. You need to know your neighborhood really well, right? And then you need to look at following factors, right? One of the factor is see how well kept the neighborhood is, right? Are the streets maintained really well, okay? Or the streets have potholes, right? Look at the amenities that you're providing, right? What kind of class comes to this neighborhood, right? What is the construction activity in that neighborhood? What kind of stores are coming up, right? What are the stores that are existing there, right? So all of this together will give you a sense of whether this neighborhood is doing well or not. And of course, you can look at rental listings as well, right? So you cannot take this decision alone, right, in a void of data. I'm just saying that don't rely on a city level data and look at the super local data and combine it with your intuition, what you see on the streets yourself, right? There is no substitute for that. When you look at a neighborhood, you just get it, whether this neighborhood is good or not, right? And all of us have developed that senses. Whoever is living here in the United States knows instantly, right? You don't need really like people to tell you that. Just look at the property, see if the people are like putting clothes outside or not, putting all sorts of junk outside or not. Like there's a lot of that stuff that you can see and just instantly know how this neighborhood is doing, right? So look at that stuff, look at the super local data about that neighborhood and know really which streets are good and which streets are bad, right? You need to know those transition points. And a transition point meaning that if you go west of this street, the neighborhood deteriorates. You need to know that kind of data. And that kind of data will come, you will learn that kind of data only by going there physically, only by touring it physically, and going there again and again and again. When you go there again and again and again, you see the transition that neighborhood is going through. And that's how you can come to right conclusions. Again, to sum up, real estate is super local. Do not rely on city level data. Look at specific neighborhood level data, right? And then you can make right decisions for your multifamily or single family or whatever you own in that area. There is a lot of interesting information like this on our website, oldmoneycapital.com. There is a button there, request a call. You can click on that button, schedule a call with us to understand how we do our things and whether multifamily is a right kind of investment for you, right? And there are various ways to invest in multifamily. It doesn't hurt to educate yourself, right? Just schedule that call and learn more, educate yourself, right? Besides that, our Instagram handle is oldmoneycapital123. We keep putting a lot of reels, a lot of interesting information there as well. We have a LinkedIn profile as well. Go to Old Money Capital's LinkedIn profile. You can go to my own LinkedIn page as well, right? So learn more about us, educate yourself about this whole vehicle multifamily so that you can get the diversification that you want. Thank you very much.